Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Canada's Sportsbook.
SDPP. The Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
On this day in 2005, the Flyers signed Peter Forsberg.
Oh,
One of the more bizarre... the only thing weirder than seeing him in a Flyers jersey was seeing him in a Preds jersey for 17
the
games.
mustard Preds.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. It was weird. He was good with the Flyers. Very, very good for a couple seasons. And then, he was there for a season and a half, and then they traded him to the Preds, where he was also good. Weird. Peter Forsberg, good.
He was good until his last game.
Yeah.
Go look at his last year with the Avs. He had, 8 games and 9 points? Something like that?
He had 9 games and 14 points, and then played another 7 games in the playoffs and had 5 points.
He was ridiculous. It's just I think it was his foot.
Yes, ankle or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't let him keep going. For some reason, I'm just filled with this dread. Like anytime it's the summer and you say on this date in 2005,
The
I'm
Leafs.
Like, the Leafs selected Tuukka Rask. Just say it.
Yeah,
The Leafs.
No, I think that came up a few days ago, or actually a month ago.
It did.
A month ago.
It did.
It's weird seeing him in a Leafs
Yeah,
jersey.
it is. It is.
With that weird, they had that weird collar too that went down to the nips at the time. It was really weird.
Didn't like it. That was. Remember we did a whole segment. The Leafs had his only Leafs jersey, and they tried to auction it off or
Tuukka
something.
Rask's?
Yeah, and they were
I don't
selling
know
it for like $1,000. He wore it at like a prospects game, or you know how before preseason there's like the Leafs and Sens and a few teams will get together and they'll have like just a prospect tournament. I think he played at one of those and he played one game, and they had his jersey from that game and they were selling it for something.
How much do you think they sold it for?
It was at least a G. I mean, what a collector's item. It's one of one, and it's game used. Not official NHL game used,
But game used.
It is, and Tuukka Rask wore it, and
I wonder who has that now. Who's got that? Where are you?
a Bruins fan.
Something before we get really into the show we should address is obviously we had a segment that has since been deleted.
Yeah.
We were making fun of a bad hashtag that the Orioles put out about Trey Mancini being traded. And we always like to make fun of those words with the numbers in it.
Yeah, which we have
Constantly done.
many times, which is why we did it.
About like 4 or 5 years ago with Derek Jeter's retirement, where the Yankees used Ritu
Pecht, and then Duncan Keith, which had that famous segment where I was like, no!
D1K.
What? D1K. It says dick.
Yeah.
So anyway, anytime we see one of these hashtags, we get excited. And sometimes there will be one, but it's not that bad. And people send it to us and we're like, no, it's not worthy.
Yeah, if the guy's number is 1 and they used an I, like that kind of worked.
Yeah. Whatever. So his was, Trey Mancini's was fighter, but Derek Jeter's and Duncan Keith's were for athletic accolades.
Yeah.
So never did it cross my mind or your minds that it was for something else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not particularly well read on the Baltimore Orioles, admittedly. And turns out in 2020, he battled stage 3 colon cancer and came back, and
Which is amazing.
Yeah, learned that he was the comeback player of the year in 2021.
yeah. And like everyone's lives have been touched by cancer.
I don't know.
I'm not in the habit of making light of that. We just didn't know.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, there was some stuff happening in 2020. So I missed it.
Yeah, man. Like, well, how didn't you know? Well, the same way I don't know the rest of the shit I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't, by not knowing.
Didn't even know to check. Why would I don't know. So anyway, long story short, we've taken the segment down and appreciate the feedback. I think most people were like, hey, I got a really nice DM last night from somebody who was like, hey, listen, I know you don't know this, but Trey Mancini, and then explain the story. And I said, appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback. Segment's already down. Like,
what should have happened, happened.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, guys. And we went whoop, and we got rid of it right away.
And that's what happens. So I wanted to kind of talk about this because we haven't mentioned this for a while, but Kirill Kaprizov was denied entry to the United States twice. Did you know that?
No.
So
we were talking about that on the way in. I was like, yeah, what? He's in the States. What's the big deal?
He was denied entry twice, and I believe he's in now.
Yes.
But it is going to be very interesting to see what happens with Russian citizens, because obviously Canada and the United States are going to have to make allowances for this. And these guys are going to come back, and they're going to come back through, I believe it's Dubai that they come through. That's one of the places they can come through.
So,
and Turkey as well.
Kirill came through Turkey, and the first time he got denied was through Dubai. So he had moved over to Dubai to come back to the United States, and they denied his visa. And then he got worried, and he went back to Russia. And the Minnesota Wild were like, why did you do that? Let's stay in Dubai, and we'll get you out from there. And he kind of panicked. He went back, and then eventually they got him from Russia to Turkey to the U.S.
Okay.
So it seems like there's entryways through those two countries.
So he's here.
He's here now, yeah.
Why did he have to do it that way? Do you know?
Why did he have to go through those countries?
Yeah.
Because they're not exporting citizens directly from Russia to the United States. It doesn't appear.
Oh, well,
You
that
can't.
makes sense.
You can't, as a Russian citizen, travel directly from Russia to North America or most of Europe now.
Wow.
You need some sort of entryway. And he was there because I believe, well, he's from there, obviously, and that's where he spends his off-season. He also had surgery in Russia for an ailment he had. It was undisclosed, but he had the surgery there. And then now it's all taken care of, and now he's coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging offseason for a lot of players and a lot of team management. It's like, here's the thing, right? When somebody gets traded across a border or someone gets drafted across a border, somebody on the team has to deal with all that paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and the players have to sign it all, but they have somebody for that. And imagine I work for the Minnesota Wild, and my job is to navigate international law and visas.
Mm-hmm.
That is a tough job.
We bring it up quite often here, but the Frank Zecca episode of Agent Provocateur, that's somebody who'd have somebody on their team who's handling this kind of stuff for the player.
The agency has people that do.
Yeah.
It's usually a far simpler process than this. You actually just triggered a memory. When I was an intern with the Fan, and I got to do the visiting room for the Blue Jays, and the Cincinnati Reds were in town, and I remember that because Ken Griffey Jr. was there, and I was just like, this is silly that I'm in the same room as Ken Griffey Jr.
That's cool.
But the reason I remember that is there was like some sort of form they had to fill out because they were obviously going from Canada to not Canada after that game. And it was literally just they like passed a paper around the room and all just like scribbled on it without even looking at it and handed it to whatever team representative, and away you go. This is obviously a lot more complicated. And, we keep talking about how guys like Kaprizov, and everything he's gone through, and he had a difficult time getting back to the States. Other players might have a difficult time as well, maybe getting back to Canada as well. Ivan Fedotov's still out there. And that situation, if you don't remember, Flyers goaltender signed a contract with them in May. He was training in St. Petersburg. They arrested him, essentially abducted him, brought him to a conscription office, and he's been he's
in the Arctic in the Navy.
Yeah, what is it? Deployed.
Yes.
He was deployed somewhere in the Navy. But remember, he was in the hospital for like undisclosed illness, and we never did get a full resolution to that. He was on camera in an ambulance. I don't recall there being any footage or photographs of him since. And any of them you would think would be somewhat tainted. Yes, I am here and I am super jacked to be a part of this. Can't wait to go to the Arctic. It's an absolute catastrophe over there right now.
Well, and it will continue to be. And this is
for a variety of reasons.
Well, and what makes it harder is that, like, this was already difficult. International law is already tricky, right?
Yes.
But then you got the thing about it's a war, and wars are constantly fluid, constantly changing. And so what the international situation is now is not what it's going to be in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months. Like I was reading an article today, hasn't got anything to do with hockey, but part of what has made the Ukraine, like the land that we call the Ukraine or Ukraine, so appealing to other countries for such a long time is that it's the breadbasket of Europe. It's where they grow all the grain. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, you can get grain for people for elsewhere. The first ship in 6 months to leave a Ukrainian harbor and actually go out, and it's meant for the Middle East, it's meant for Lebanon right now, just left the other day because they had to, the Russians have mined all the harbors around this one city in the Ukraine, and the United Nations had to step in and say, listen, can we negotiate a safe corridor for these non-military ships so that we can get food out to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world really relies on the grain that Ukraine produces. And it's not for people. It's for like cows and horses and other livestock that need to be fed so we can eat that. And so, you know, and this particular ship had corn on it, but Russia had to involve Turkey, and Turkey has to go and inspect every one of these ships, which is slowing down the process, but at least the process is going. There is so much happening right now that we don't even think about. Little things like that.
Too much to process.
Exactly. So it'll be I think there'll be more stories like this. And I think a lot of these stories about, you know, what Kaprizov what just happened with him, a lot of people are going to look to that as an example of how do we get somebody from Russia to North America, number one. Number two,
fucking sweet.
The hiccups are going to come in that first week of September, right after Labor Day, when people start to travel back.
They got to do it now.
All right. The idea with Kaprizov was that his plan was mid-September, right before training camp, and they said, no, do it now.
Yeah.
So I imagine in the next few weeks, we'll hear a lot of more stories of the Russian athletes being like, hey,
I understand wanting to see your family, and that's why he wants to go back. I get it. But he can't have thought, oh, that'll go off without a hitch. Mid-September.
You can hope. Hope makes you think silly things sometimes, you know, and love.
And in the end,
I don't blame him for thinking.
And in the end, that wasn't the decision they made. They made the decision to leave early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
he ended
is the right
up,
one, you know?
I mean, you know, maybe with some protests, it's hard. None of it's easy. Jesus.
It's the last sort of news cycle show of the year, because obviously we're going to do some questions and stuff on the next one. Nazem Kadri still doesn't have a home.
Whatever we miss, we miss.
Are you going to be okay with it?
No. Of course not. Never am.
Are you going to make videos for the next 3 weeks?
Depends. Maybe.
Because you're
not
going
for Sportsnet, no.
No, on your channel?
We're going to upload
the trade
trees, because I've already shot 4 of them. And then we're going to do another 3 in September, but we'll shoot them later.
If there's a signing, if there's a Kerfoot trade, let's put that.
Yeah, I'll do
Kerfoot trade, yes. That's a bar.
Might be a one taker, but yeah.
Okay.
Might be on my phone.
Okay.
Next to a lake.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
I think the people want it.
I want it. It would bug me to not have it. I want it. No, there's lots of business still to do, and maybe I'll do a Kadri video. I don't know. We'll see how I feel.
The inspiration strikes. You also, here's the thing is never that, and this goes for any job, it's never that there isn't work to do. It's that if I don't take the time off when I can, when I can't, I'm going to feel really burnt out.
The good news is, so 2020, I wanted to friggin' melt. And last summer, I also was very clearly miserable by the end of all of it. This year, like, no, I'm feeling great.
Good, man.
I got the energy. I'm feeling healthy. Sign somewhere. I'll be fucking ready for you. Let's go.
Okay. Well, with that, why don't we get into You Can Bet That with Dave Bashel, Sports Interaction. Go to the description on the video or wherever you get this podcast, and you can click on that link and you can check out responsible gaming tips. It's 19 plus. Please play responsibly. All right, so Dave Bastel, this is our last time meeting until September, my friend.
Oh,
yeah, kind of crazy. And so obviously we got to talk a little bit about the CFL. Yes. What are we looking at this week? Because we've got a Thursday game and we got a Saturday game. Friday game, Saturday game.
Friday, yeah, exactly. You know what's funny? The line I'm looking at is the Saturday night one, Hamilton plus 2 points in Toronto. The only reason is this: Ticats 4-1-1 against the number in their last 6 meetings in Toronto. So something to look at. And the Argos have been struggling as of late, coming off a loss. The Thursday nighter is hilarious because the Montreal Alouettes owner basically guaranteed a win over the Bombers on Thursday. So good luck to you, Gary Stern.
I guess
good luck.
The Bombers the best team in the league. Okay. All right.
Why would he do that for a random regular season game?
Oh, no idea.
Why not?
And hey,
the Bombers wouldn't even be the worst NFL team. Never mind the best CFL team, but that's another story.
And we have NFL related football on Thursday?
Yeah, first preseason game of the year. You guys ready for some preseason football? It's the Raiders and Jaguars. Taste it.
Seps, man, you know, those Those Jags.
Steve knows nothing about football,
Steve,
by the way.
you should be excited about the Raiders because they're the new look Raiders who've acquired Devontae Adams this offseason from the Green Bay Packers.
Who could forget?
And him and Hunter Renfrew could be an elite combo at wide receiver.
Yeah. Darren Waller,
Hunter
too.
Renfrew.
Darren Waller is still there.
Yeah.
Derek Carr passing to them. Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
Josh Jacobs in the backfield.
I mean,
It's a strong Raider team. Yeah.
Which who ended up getting Doug Flutie?
Dave, we hope that you have a great month. It's been such an awesome thing having you on the show and getting to know you a little bit. And I can't wait to see what the Winnipeg Jets do this next season. And we'll find out.
Neither can I, because I clearly don't know.
I just don't know anymore.
I bet it's nothing.
I think it might be onto something. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
So we've partnered with BetterHelp, and one of the things that we're all pretty open about is we've all been to therapy. The thing about therapy now, and I actually have to say, especially over the last few years, is that it's really evolved. You can do therapy so many different ways now. When I first started going to therapy, you had to go, you had to show up, you had to be there, you had to look the person in the eye. Not everybody's comfortable with that. Not everybody even wants to start that way, and that's why BetterHelp's so great. Is you could start with just an online chat, or you can do video chat, or you can do you could just literally text. That's it. That's all you need to do. And for some people, it graduates. So they start to get comfortable with somebody, and then they graduate to different things, right? So you can start, by doing like a messenger chat, and then you can go to video chat and feel a little bit better. So BetterHelp allows all sorts of different ways for you to get the therapy that you need and the therapy that you deserve. And what's interesting about it as well is that it's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. And that's huge for a lot of people. It takes weeks usually to find one. So our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/SDP. Again, that's BETTERHELP.com/SDP. Steve, what are you looking for in your life most of all? That's right. It's gut health. With Athletic Greens. Gut health, more energy, because Steve needs it for sure. Steve, low energy guy, and a stronger immune system to protect against those bugs that your child brings home from daycare all the time, right, Steve?
Just always phlegm.
How was this weekend?
Phlegmy.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, because you and your wife got it too, right?
We were supposed to go to our first Jays game, and instead, Jesse.
They got to go to the Toronto Blue Jays game.
Here's the thing about Athletic Greens. It's lifestyle friendly. Whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything, just tastes good. And with 1 scoop with a cup of water every day, that is all you need, and you can reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially going into another cold and flu season this fall.
Oh, good.
Yay. Now, no need for a million different pills. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 free year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SDP. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/SDP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate in daily nutritional insurance. Flames have re-signed Andrew Mangiapane to a 3-year deal and Oliver Kylington to $5 million contract over 2 years. Listen, great to avoid arbitration with both. Jesper Bratt also signed today, but we'll get to him in a second. The Flames are starting to kind of shore up what the Flames are now.
It looks like Andrew's eating that bread.
Because Mangiapane means bread in Italian. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what? Do we give it to him, Jesse? Or
no, not at all.
He's eating that bread.
It was bad. Everybody's made that joke a million times.
He's eating.
Welcome to the Calgary Flames Twitter account making bread jokes. I thought it was interesting how a lot of people are looking at the Mangiapane deal as a discount. Like Calgary got the better end of this deal, and that he should have been paid north of 6.57 million ish based on his production. I think for them, they got a good deal here. For a 26-year-old who's putting up probably 30 goals every season for the next couple of seasons. Not bad.
My surprise with it is that, because what are the rules on UFA? It's a certain amount of games or what age? What's the age?
I want to say 27.
27, because he's 26 now. And they got 3 years, which means that takes him all the way to 29.
I believe they got at least 2 UFA years.
You want me to read it to you?
Yes.
Players can qualify for UFA status if they are 25 years of age or older, or have accrued 3 or more professional seasons while signed to a standard player's contract, but have played less than 80 NHL games. So 25 is the age you're thinking about.
Okay.
It's kind of a late bloomer, a little bit.
He's only played 260 games in the NHL.
That's actually more than I thought.
Yeah. But I mean, like where he was a real factor, it's been the last 3 seasons. It's the COVID shortened season, it's the COVID season, and then the post COVID-ish season.
There's going to be a real interesting case of how we've talked about like pensions and stuff, and there's going to be cases where players are like, well, I should be a UFA right now, or I should qualify for the pension. It's just there literally weren't games. It's going to be interesting because for some players, like let's say you have to hit 200 games for the pension. I forget the exact amount of games. There are going to be some players who miss it by a very small handful of games, and it's going to be kind of unfair.
Yeah,
and is it just too bad?
I think it probably is.
The NHL lawyers or the NHLPA lawyers, whoever's arguing, they sit there and say, too
tough
bad.
shit.
Shrug my shoulders and say, that was the world.
But like if I'm sitting at 195 and it's 200.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. The world stopped, man.
No.
For 2 years.
Everybody played under those circumstances.
Man,
those lawyers
hard.
aren't giving you a fucking break.
Yeah, are you kidding? Come on now.
Anyway,
pensions are a lot of money because we have to pay you forever.
How many goals did Mangiapane have?
So Mangiapane had 35 goals, and that 35 was a legit 35. Like that,
and healthy too.
That's his number, I think, going forward about in the range. He's going to put up 30 goals. $5.8 million for a 30 goal scorer is not too bad.
He had a stretch where he could not stop scoring. Could not stop scoring, and his role might even get elevated. Now, he didn't have the best playoff, but I think part of the reason a lot of the Flames' offensive numbers suck from the playoffs is literally just the Stars series. They couldn't score a goal, and then
10 total goals in the whole series.
I think they had like twice the amount of goals against Calgary, and they lost in 5. Like it was
game 1.
Yeah, they had an extremely they had more. Wasn't it? They had more goals in game 1 against the Oilers than they did the entire series against
something like
something
that.
stupid like that. Yeah, it was preposterous. But no, incredibly good player, incredibly useful. It's rare that you have a player who can score that efficiently for you and is that useful defensively for you. So to get him for 3 years, probably the best years of his prime, under 6, that's a really good deal for Brad Treliving. And one of the, I guess the theme of the offseason for the Flames has been a difficulty retaining players. They weren't able to retain Gaudreau. They knew they weren't going to be able to retain Tkachuk. So they move them for 2 guys who they might not be able to retain. So the Flames, I think, have a window here of a couple years. And then that 3rd year of Mangiapane's contract might be a discussion of, all right, is it time to rebuild or retool here?
Oh, no.
And then, but then imagine the windfall you get from Mangiapane.
Yeah, but let's not depress
come on
Flames
now.
fans. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, but okay, sorry. The takeaway there should be you're going to be fucking going for it, balls to the wall for the next
Flames
2 years
fans,
at
listen
least.
up. 2 years from now, you're trading this guy at the deadline, says Steve Dangle.
As a Leafs fan, zero sympathy. Matthew signed that contract as half a decade, and people are like, tick fucking talk.
What you're
saying
makes sense when you look at the other contracts.
Yes.
Because Lindholm's up in 2 years, like Toffoli's up in 2 years, Dylan Dubé's up in 2 years. There's going to be a lot of turnover with and who knows about the Huberdeau contract?
Yeah.
Like, do they want to give Huberdeau the 8 years that his agent, Alan Walsh, was seeking?
Noted Alan Walsh client.
Do the Flames want to give him that? So you're very right about, hey, this Flames roster could look really, really different in maybe a year or 2.
And they got Kylington for 2.
Yeah, that was the other deal they did today.
In their business. So they have if you look at their contracts, they have a very clear window of, well, definitely this year.
Yep.
And probably next. Like you got to think it'd be relatively easy with the core that they have to convince guys to stay. Like, listen, just stick around for 1 more year.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you potentially make some really difficult decisions. But the good news is I think you got Huberdeau to worry about and Weegar. And then your other worry is winning the cup.
I'm just looking. This is a totally random, has nothing really to do with hockey. But the Flames have an obnoxiously strong left side, up front, and in the back.
Let me see.
So you've got Huberdeau, Mangiapane, and then I'm going to just say knuckle strength with Milan Lucic.
He's had a bit of a renaissance with the Flames.
And then on the left side of their defense, Hannafin, Weegar, and Kylington.
Their whole defense is ridiculous.
Yeah, they do have a great top six, but like that is... I'm like, if I have the opportunity to carry the puck up, I'm not going up their left side.
Attack the right.
Yeah. And the right's not that much better.
Mangiapane can play both sides.
Yeah, he does.
He can play both wings.
So do you think, because currently right now, like if I'm looking at daily face-off, which is like, who knows, right? It's August. Please don't come at me with, well, you don't know. Nobody knows. Is it Huberdeau, Lindholm, Toffoli, or is it Huberdeau, Lindholm, Mangiapane? And I think with Huberdeau's, I was just thinking with Huberdeau's ability to set other people up, Mangiapane makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Like he's all goals.
You mean you're mapping out the first line?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Because like, listen, nothing against Backlund and Coleman, which were a great fit for Mangiapane, and maybe they go back to that. But if you have an all assists guy, with the passing stick on his hockey card,
yes,
like you would in NHL 2006, I would set him up with the target guy who is the sniper, because that was the target, wouldn't you? And then if I'm Lindholm, I'm going, this is fantastic.
The Huberdeau deal might have done wonders for Mangiapane's career.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he might be wishing that he didn't sign for the 3 years because, we know he's about to score a shitload this year. The Flames, I think, need to find... it'd be nice for them to find one more winger to take the defensive burden off of Mangiapane. He's too gifted of a goal scorer. One of the things I remember thinking watching the Flames Oilers series is, why am I seeing Mangiapane so seldomly?
Yeah.
However much he played in that series, it felt like he should have been playing more, and he was consistently a pretty good player for them. Visually, I thought. I don't know how the numbers shook out, but you got to let him fly. You got to let him fly. So if you think he's an effective shutdown guy for you, cool. You can use him in certain ways. I mean, it's nice to have a responsible player on your top line, but maybe put someone else in that shutdown role, eh?
Maybe.
What's going on with that Blake Coleman contract?
That's what it costs as an unrestricted free agent.
Coming off of a two-time Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah, him and Barclay Goodrow.
I guess in the context.
Like, you look at the Barclay Goodrow contract, the Blake Coleman contract doesn't seem so bad.
What's the combined cap hit of Tampa's third line from their second cup? Because that was Blake Coleman.
Other teams.
Blake
Coleman like 1.1 or something dumb?
No. What's their cap hit now?
He means
now.
Now
Coleman,
where they've signed to other teams.
Barclay Goodrow, Yanni Gourde. I know Gourde makes over 5. So we'll start right there. Over 5. It's over $10 million, that third line. And that's, I don't know, weird that they won back-to-back cups.
Okay, I'll tell you in half a second.
You don't have to answer the question. I know it's over 10.
Let's do it.
We're finding
If we're going to fucking do it, let's fucking do it.
All right. So when we talk about the Flames, just while you're looking that up, Jesse, have we made enough of the fact that not only, like Calgary got Huberdeau and Weegar? Mm-hmm. People realize how good Weegar is, right?
Oh, Flames fans know. They know. They know that...
Listen, I'm happy he's not in the division anymore. I'm happy Huberdeau's not here too.
Yeah.
Not that Tkachuk's great.
No, that sucks.
not that we're thrilled about that, but you know what I'm saying?
Remember how we were like, well, maybe trade Muzzin, and now we're like, maybe don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, those two head-to-heads going to be great. Jesse, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
All right. Blake Coleman makes $4.9 million a year until 2027.
That's a long time.
Barclay Goodrow makes $3.641667 until 2027. And Yanni Gourde makes $5.166666 until 2025.
I don't know how many sixes that was. $13.7 million.
$13 million for a third line.
Wins you 2 cups.
I didn't realize this. Goudreau and Coleman had the same amount of points last year.
The exact same amount of
33,
points?
both of them at 30. I was just looking it up.
Hilarious.
Almost the same amount.
Not Johnny.
No, Goudreau. Barclay Goudreau.
Not quite,
Barclay
no.
Goudreau. Yeah, not Johnny. If anybody was mixed, I've been talking about Barclay Goudreau the whole time, not the Johnny Gaudreau contract.
And I think they'll be able to do a little bit of work in free agency as well.
With the Flames?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Still?
Well, and
I don't
there's
know.
So many names.
And also,
There's
like,
so many
even
guys.
if Huberdeau gets a raise, which he's going to, you already have Huberdeau's raise on the roster, and that's Milan Lucic.
Mhm.
So if he goes, like, let's say Huberdeau is a $10 million player next year, just for argument's sake, it's a round number. He makes 5.9 now. 4 of Milan Lucic's 6 goes to that, and you had $2 million to just whatever with. You know, maybe that goes towards Uyghur's contract, the other $2 million. But you've got the money to keep these guys.
Here's what I'm thinking with free agency. So Dylan Strome wasn't qualified by the Blackhawks, but he still ended up signing, I believe it was for $3.5 million. The longer this summer goes, I don't know if that amount of money is out there for like a Sonny Milano. So at what point do you start to consider, all right, let's sign like a league min deal somewhere, put up 50, 60 points, and cash in next summer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would I think you could do worse than being a league min player for the Calgary Flames, is what I'm saying.
One thing we haven't had an update on is Sean Monahan,
Yes.
who had season-ending hip surgery last season, and the previous year had hip surgery. So it's back-to-back seasons he had hip surgery, and I don't know what his status is for next year.
Your hips are very important. I mean, we've seen what it's done to Jamie Benn's career. We've seen what it's done to Tyler Seguin's career. You can bounce back, but it takes a long time.
All right, and that's $6.375 million
Yeah.
in terms
lot of
the
money.
cap, you know, and a good player and a good center you could probably use on your roster.
Yeah, the Flames would be better if he was healthy,
Yes, 100%.
but he's not right now.
Yeah.
So
We'll see.
I
I
don't
don't know what
know.
the timeline is
I
for
don't-
hip surgery.
I also don't know what the amount of injuries he's had. Like, what are the chances he returns to Sean Monahan?
Right.
And I think maybe that's an unfair expectation.
But Sean Monahan was expected at times to be the number one center, and sometimes maybe like a tandem.
And he'd be 3 max?
Well,
here?
if he's third behind Lindholm and Backlund, that's not so bad. There's something there. If he can be healthy but not necessarily be what he was, there's something there.
It was 8 goals, 15 assists, 23 points in 65 games last year.
Yeah, 65 pretty busted games.
Yeah, in a struggling year for him.
Yeah.
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 Still only 27, you know. You hope he can bounce back and be ready for some point early next year.
Like, if you've ever wondered why, like, oh man, why do professional athletes make so much money? First of all, there's a variety of reasons, but one of them is, what is it, double hip surgery by 27.
Yeah.
He's
Their time frame
27.
to earn money is so limited
Oh, yeah.
because of the amount of injuries they go through and what they put their bodies
You get
through.
50, 60 years of living after that to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's over a half century of, I don't know, fake hips. I don't know exactly the surgery.
I don't know how
it
that
could have
works,
been like
yeah.
the labrum or whatever, but
I don't know which
Still, that
part of
doesn't
the
sound
hip.
good.
But yeah, it's bad.
Whenever I hear labrum brought up, it's in a sports context, and it's because it's not working or it's torn. And I just feel like the first time I ever heard that was the Jays traded for a guy named Mike Soroka, and they didn't check that he had a torn labrum. I think they traded David Wells because David Wells wanted out, and they got Mike Soroka, who was really good. And then I guess they like said that, hey, listen, the Sox didn't tell us that he had this, and he never played another game. Mike Soroka never played for the Jays ever. And so labrum to me equals pretty bad, pretty serious.
I also pulled that word out of thin air.
Labrum?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got a labrum in your shoulder and you got a labrum in your hip.
I learned that this year.
I only know it from what I was saying, baseball.
Yeah, big labrum guy.
Pitchers tear their labrums.
Yeah. And he had,
it's a
Mike
common
Soroka
thing.
had that weird sort of side overhand sort of thing. So it snaps
It's
when you're
very labrum heavy.
very labrum heavy. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of labor for the labrum.
That's 100%.
There was
I'm sure that's what they said.
I don't know how to call it a trend, but there was a thing going on, and I'm not up to date on it currently. But in
all the more reason to go in on you.
in really minor league baseball, I'm not talking about professionals playing minor leagues.
He's already fucking this up. Can you hear him do it?
I'm talking about
hearing it in real time.
Kids playing baseball. There was a trend where parents would be happy when their kids would get Tommy John surgery, because when you have Tommy John surgeries, they rebuild the ligament there, and then some parents were like, the crazy sports parents were like, the arm comes back stronger after Tommy John surgery.
That is not true.
So it was a long time trend where parents would be like, oh yeah, my kid's getting Tommy John at 16, you know?
Like that movie with the kid who played for the Cubs. What the
Oh my god. Oh yeah. No, he played for the Angels. Angels in the outfield. He had a broken arm and it just went bang. It just fired like it remember his arm snapped and then he became a good pitcher.
I just remember those stories from growing up playing baseball.
Yeah, I don't think you should want that for your kid.
Right. I don't know. Maybe if you just had a healthy arm your whole life.
It's like there was a thing, and I don't think this was intended, but Malcolm Gladwell put out a book, and it was about basically it gets into it mentions hockey, but it gets into the differences between children that are born at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. And in a child's life, a year is a big deal. Yeah. But you're in class, if you're born in December, you're in class with people that were born literally 12 months before you. And they are far further along in the development curve. And they did studies on this. And I think they found, listen, I haven't read the full book, so don't quote me too much, but it was confidence, better at grades, better at sports, that sort of thing. So they found that, in hockey players or something, the majority of the better hockey players were born between January and April or something like that. That's the for instance. I don't have the exact. And then what parents started to do, and I'm just going off of crazy parent stories. What do you think they started to do?
Banging at certain times of the year.
No, they didn't do that. Although I'm sure people have done that.
Forging birth certificates.
No, they haven't done that, but close. They were holding their kids out of kindergarten a year longer so they would go in older.
Oh, wow.
So they would have an edge. So they would graduate a year later, but the entire time they would build more confidence. They would be physically bigger. They would be physically more advanced. They would be more able to handle and cope. And school boards had to step in and say, no, you can't do that. Because you legally have to send your child to school. That's a legal thing. Isn't that
truancy?
Or whatever? Truancy is being late. Is it? Yeah, truancy is being late and missing school. This is it's against the law. You can't not send your kid to school.
Jeez.
So, can you believe that? A trend developed out of that because of that one book.
Well, just if you're a parent, chill.
Yeah. I think that's kind of the takeaway from this. Sports parents need to chill. There's 99% chance your kid's not going to do this for a living.
That's a take.
What?
Sports parents, why don't you simply chill?
Well,
is that a hot take?
Hey, I think we did it, guys. We solved it.
Is that a hot take?
I don't think we do a good enough story or a good enough job covering the stories of parents who raised elite athletes and were just normal. They were just normal.
Yeah.
It's
all the get out there and run around the track and I'm going to chase you with my car and you got to take 1,000 shots and you got to throw it. No, there are, there's a million cases of just two or sometimes one, just lovely people just raising this child and they happen to be good at a sport and they just encouraged them. And
isn't that the Matthews family?
I mean,
weren't they
that's what I get the impression.
They give you the impression that they didn't know much about hockey. They're I don't care.
Austin, what do you like? Hockey? Oh, okay. Or I guess we'll find some ice.
We'll try to find the rink, the one rink.
Yeah.
And go, I guess. And they would just hang out with him while he played for other teams all Saturday.
The way to go, Paul, the parent who walks up to the glass screaming at the ref and then smashes the glass and the pane of glass breaks. We never hear the story where it's and that is... Sidney Crosby's dad. That man went on to raise Sidney Crosby.
You know what? I'll never forget the time my dad smashed glass in my hockey game. That's what motivated me to make it to the NHL.
I think the greatest testament to Sidney Crosby's parents is I don't know anything about him. They let him shoot pucks at a dryer. That's all I know about them. Mm-hmm. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Well, because the other side, the part of the crazy sport parent, all that's glorified.
Yes.
King Richard came out this year about Serena and Venus's father. Like, he had Will Smith I don't know if you guys remember when he won the Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
I think something happened during his Oscar acceptance of speech. Anyways.
There was a time where that would have been the biggest story in entertainment for 2 years.
Yeah, now we all kind of...
And now we're just like, yeah, sorry, this is the most unprecedentedly insane time ever, so we don't care.
But like the crazy...
After like a week.
The crazy sport parent gets a movie made after them if they raise these kids, you know? So we don't hear the normal ones because the other ones are deified.
Yeah, normal ones are boring. Why were we talking about them?
Right.
I mean, yeah, but I guess the takeaway I want to say is far more elite athletes are raised by normal, well put together people than the people who we say maybe need to chill.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You know why? Because it is.
I think they're normal because the majority of people are normal.
Where did this come from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I just can't get past a parent going, they need Tommy John? Yes. What?
Whether it's your baseball picks or your way too early football picks or your tennis picks, you got to pick them at Sports Interaction. That's right. It's Canada's sportsbook. Listen, before the game starts, live and play or how your favorite player will perform, doing it right since 1997, Sports Interaction is Canada's sportsbook with the most competitive odds. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. You head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. One more time, that's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 18 plus, please play responsibly. Listen, when you bite into cereal, I want you to imagine that you're taking your first bite. What's the thing what do you love the most?
The fact that I put the milk in second.
Do you put the milk in second?
Yeah, because I'm correct.
Yeah, no, I think that's the right way to do that.
No, anybody who does it the other way is weird.
But also, when you take that first bite, what's the first thing that you think of right now? Think about it.
Ooh, spicy.
Oh no, my heart burns!
I was gonna say the crunch, but anyway.
My heart burns!
0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. Where would I get cereal that has this?
Not the hot sauce store.
No.
You'd probably get it at Magic Spoon.
That's right, magicspoon.com, and that promo code. What's the promo code, guys?
SPICY.
No, it's SDP. Grab a bundle of cereal and try Magic for yourself, and be sure to use that promo code SDP at checkout to save $5 off your first order. Hey, Magic Spoon is so confident you'll like their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. And remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/SDP. Use that promo code SDP. Save $5 off.
Picante.
Jesper Bratt was signed this morning as well.
Adam's favorite team.
1-year deal, $5.45 million. I mean, $5 million or $5.5 million for a guy that got you 70 points last year.
It's a risky deal for both sides, I think.
Why do you say that?
He had a really good season last year.
Yes.
And there's no guarantee he repeats it, or he could knock it out of the park.
Well, here's the thing. He'll be an RFA at the end of it. And
he can ask for more money, though.
He might get offer sheeted. Oh, no.
It's not
I think at that point, New Jersey has a better sense of what they are and what they're going to be, right? Obviously, this past year was just not great. Next year is going to be better. I actually think it sets them up perfectly. Because you get the opportunity to see, okay, is he going to do this? Is he William Karlsson and he does this for 1 year and then goes back to being a 50 or 60 point guy? Or is he surrounded by better players? And the Devils have better players this year, right? Fair? Sure. Devils fans? You keep telling me they do.
Jack Hughes for sure.
Surrounded by better players, playing better, man, I could think of worse things than having a guy in my lineup where I'm like, bummer, I got to give him $8 or $9 million because he deserves it over 8 years.
Right. I guess the good news is if he plays well, gosh, gee willikers, we got to pay a good player like a good player.
Like
you don't want to overpay anyone.
No, but and you will.
Yeah,
but using
with
cap
Bratt,
space,
I don't think you will.
Using cap space to sign a guy who deserves it that's good.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah, everybody gets all freaked out. Wow, it's a long deal.
Well, and Devils fans have also been expecting the Devils to do more this offseason. And now that this very important piece of business is taken care of, like now we're starting to see the dominoes fall.
Yeah.
Right? The Flames take care of, they don't have to worry about Kachuk anymore. They have a resolution there. And they got Kylington and they got Mangiapane, and now the Devils have Bratt. Is there a deal out there? Well, now you have these things taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Okay.
Now they can go out and sign Cody.
It's definitely a bet on myself contract.
Yes.
Because I assume, like, if he wanted the years, they would have been there. Like,
I'm sure that's when they went to or they were going to go to arbitration.
Yeah.
Because he was probably like, I want a 1 year. And they were like, no.
Mm-hmm. Not the greatest comparable, but a bet on yourself contract worked out very well for his teammate, Andreas Janssen.
Right.
Who signed a 1 year, $850,000 contract with the Leafs, scored 20 goals, and he signed, I think it was a 4-year deal over $3 million per year, which he's still on, but that set him up with money that he can ride the rest of his life, right? And brought obviously a far higher stakes version of that. He's not signing for 850, he's signing for over $5 million. But he's going to bet on himself. He's going to perform very well. And by the end of it, he's probably going to be a $7+ million guy.
I thought the filings in the arbitration that they didn't end up going to were interesting because Bratt's side filed for $6.5 million, and then the Devils went with $4.15, and then they landed in the middle at $5.4.
That's how it works.
But I thought like that $6.5 filing for Bratt is a little modest.
Yeah.
Like even in his filing, he went kind of low, and I want a shorter contract length and I'll take less money.
Because that number number goes up if you had another year.
Yeah. He if he wanted a long-term deal, like he would have said, "Oh, I want my $8 million right now," or whatever. It's truly, hey, I think I can improve on this 26 goals and 76 points. You know, like he thinks he's gonna keep getting better, and like he's 23. And like I think he will. This is the skill curve that we see with NHL players. Mm-hmm. He's getting better from 23 on.
You need a relatively healthy season from both Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier.
Yep.
And that makes the Devils more formidable offensively, which makes it more likely that their top line is going to get more points, which makes it more likely that Bratt is going to get more points. If he performs the way we think he can, he's going to get over $7 million.
We're sitting here next June/July, and we're like, oh, Bratt signed an extension for 6 years, $8 million.
How well does he need to perform to get a contract somewhat comparable to what Kevin Fiala got with the Kings?
Which was?
7 times, was it 8.1?
I don't think much more.
Also, a bit older. Fiala's 26. Bratt's only 23.
Oh, yeah. So what is Fiala's contract?
Fiala's deal is 7.8 for 7 years.
If Bratt performs well, that would be about right.
For a younger player?
For a younger player, yeah. So there's more appeal there for the Devils. I mean, you would have to... It wouldn't be Bratt asking for that, I don't think. I think it would be the Devils trying to talk him into it. Because by the end of this, I could be, $9-10 million player. Cap goes up.
Yeah.
My production goes up.
That's a good comparable too, and like, because you gotta get him if you're the Devils. You gotta get him for the next UFA deal. You gotta buy some of those UFA years because it's coming. It's not till like 2-3 more seasons, so you gotta get him on at least a 4-year deal.
Can you go to the Devils cap friendly page for a sec? Because I know they signed a few players to really long term deals, and some of them were thought of to be not very smart at the time, but.
Who are you thinking about? Andre
Jack
Palat?
Hughes at $8 million.
Is not bad.
I think is going to end up being fantastic. Hischier at 7.25.
Are the ones you're thinking of Palat and Dougie Hamilton?
I think Dougie Hamilton was a good bet.
Palat might be tough by the end of it, and Hamilton, I think, is a puck-moving defenseman who actually has guys to move the puck to now.
Right side.
Right side. Ah, man. There's a lot to like. That defense, though, is a bit of a world of hurt. I'm not totally sold on that.
And if Blackwood and Vanacek could solve a lot of that, because like I'm looking at their stats from last season, right?
They scored contracts nice.
They scored 10 more goals than both the Kings and the Stars, and the Kings and the Stars made the playoffs. Now those are defense heavy teams. But they can't stop a goal, right? They let in 70 more goals than the Kings. They let in 60 more goals than the Stars.
Where were they overall?
They're the two worst goalies in the NHL.
In goals for, they're 19th overall. So they got to improve that, but you expect that they will. In goals against, they are...
Must have been bottom.
How much of their lack of offense was injuries, and how much of their lack of offense was overcompensating for the fact that their goalies can't stop anything.
Yeah. I mean, and that there is compensation. When you overcompensate for that. They ranked fourth last in goals against, meaning that So Coyotes, Red Wings, and Canadians all let in more, but not by much. Yeah, 317 by the Canadians, 310 by the Wings, 309 by the Coyotes, and the Devils are at 302. Those three teams are the only teams that eclipse 300, although surprisingly at 5. I forgot. I guess the Blue Jackets you always think of as a defense-first team. 297 goals left.
They didn't have a good year.
We forget that there were 8 teams ready for the playoffs in the East by January.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of just everybody else.
No one was really in the conversation.
No. So it doesn't surprise me that the Blue Jackets were in the bottom of stats because everybody outside the top 8 in the East was kind of out of the top anything.
Kind of crazy here.
Yeah.
Who is the team that let in the most goals but still made the playoffs?
No, I'm kidding. Oilers.
251. They're number 2. They let in the second most goals but still made the playoffs. Jesse.
It's got to be a Western Conference team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another guess?
Caps.
Okay.
You're going with Caps?
Jesse, can you make a guess?
I got to think about the playoff teams. I'm running through them in my brain. So the Kings were in the bottom. Who's the 7 seed?
In the West?
Yeah.
Was it the Preds?
Oh, no. UC Soros had a great season.
They did.
Preds, third most goals allowed. Still making the playoffs.
Wow.
They didn't really have a bad
Maybe I'll go. Let's try the Pittsburgh Penguins.
It is not the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Damn it.
It is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh,
what? Yeah.
Yeah, we had awful goals.
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs had
under 900.
The goals against per game, according to NHL.com, is a 307.
You know, now that I think about it, why didn't we guess the Leafs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they allowed a shitload of goals.
Well, when you said the Leafs, I was like, he's got it. And then,
No, because their defense was somewhat improved, but they couldn't stop shit.
Anyway, that was just a random thought. The Devils, they do look better, but they are not good.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
What's that?
Are they making the playoffs?
No, not in the Metro. The Metro is really good.
Really hard division.
Yeah, like and maybe in a couple of years, but the Metro is really freaking good.
Yeah.
The Rangers, the two wild cards for me is the Rangers. Are they really that good? We'll find out. And are the Islanders really that bad?
Can I offer this cop-out answer? It's such an even division that it'll be like the healthiest team wins.
Yeah.
So it's Devils were fine. Jack Hughes got hurt. You're done. You know?
Yeah. That's fair.
Rangers could be, we're ready to contend, and Shesterkin is out for 3 months, and we're fucked.
If the Devils make the playoffs 1 year from now, Adam Wild, will you buy a New Jersey Devils jersey?
Joke's on you, I already have one. It's Doug Gilmore's, and I'll try to put it on, but it was from grade 5, so it probably won't.
Okay. No, that's awesome. If the New Jersey Devils, if the New Jersey Devils make the playoffs, Adam Wild's doing a whole show in his grade 5 Doug Gilmore jersey.
Done.
All right.
I bought a Nikita Gusev game-used Devils hockey stick as an olive branch to Devils fans, and then we never did anything with it.
You still have it?
Yeah, it's in my basement.
Save it for Easter Seals.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I bought it from Easter Seals. That's funny.
Oh,
okay, fine.
oh my God. We were going to give it away.
Yeah, I outbid myself.
Anyway,
you have to wear your grade. Do you know where it is?
Yeah. It's in a box. I have a few
this.
other things. I have a Jason Arnott Dallas Stars jersey.
Why?
I don't know, but I have it. And I have a 2001 NHL All-Star jersey with the crest. Remember they just had the crest on them?
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those players who was huge for a time, and then the hockey world just decided we're not going to talk about that person anymore.
He was good in the
Jason
video
Arnott?
games too.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Peter Bondra.
He was great for the Devils.
John Madden.
Yeah.
John
Madden.
Like just in that
He ate the
list.
Leafs ass was John Madden. Yeah, he ate the Leafs alive.
Was he a captain at one point?
I think you're right.
I think you are right. Somewhere. But was it New Jersey?
So here's what I have on John Madden being captain. After the retirement of longtime captain Scott Stevens before the 05-06 seasons, the Devils abandoned the use of the C and instead had 4 alternate captains, which included John Madden. Madden continued to wear the A for a short time, blah, 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 and was never captain. So I gave out misinformation.
Way to go, idiot.
Are we recording right now?
We are.
I didn't know that.
What do you mean?
I thought you were just explaining to us.
Literally. You just think that was just like a conversation that he was just having for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the Devils really missed out on it. The Devils did weird stuff.
Yes.
Weird stuff.
Weird guy.
We were all focused on what their wings were doing because they were really good. And Nick Lidstrom was playing there and that sort of thing. But the Devils were doing weird stuff around that time.
Lots of weird stuff.
You mean winning?
They were winning.
Yeah, but weirdly.
Hey, this is the internet talking. You mean winning unlike the Leafs?
That's true.
What if we
did not win?
Score, but won?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What if we ruined hockey for
was
3 seasons?
There was a year where I think they were top 5 in scoring, and I know this because I complained about the Devils during the Trap era, and Greg Wyshynski brought that up. And it's like, okay, but they scored the most in the lowest scoring era ever.
Yeah.
Listen, you're not going to stats me into enjoying the games that I watched and didn't enjoy.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're not going to stats me into liking the most boring era of hockey. It was bad.
It wasn't great.
Bad. I watched it, and I watched the current era, and I can tell you concretely, this era is better.
And they were the best at the bad hockey.
Yeah, they were. They were the
best
experts.
at it. Yeah.
Like that's one thing. So it's funny. Like we sometimes get shit from frankly idiots who talk about how well, if you hate hockey culture so much and if you don't like hockey,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah.
those tweets have stopped. By the way, funnily enough.
Yeah, weird, fucking assholes. Anyway, but one thing I always make sure to emphasize all the time in my Hat Picks videos for Sportsnet is there's shit multiple players do weekly that would have been on the highlights for 5 years in the NHL. The between the legs goals are like they barely even make it into Hat Picks anymore.
They're a weekly occurrence.
They happen all the time now.
I remember when Paul Ranheim, I'll never forget Paul Ranheim, who was a Flyer and I think a Kane for a while, had a shootout goal where he took it to the right and then body kept going to the right, but his hands went to the left and one-handed it past the goalie. I guess that's the Forsberg. Yeah, he did it in an NHL game though, and I think it was during a shootout.
I don't know.
And people were like, "Whoa!"
This
and now,
is nuts.
Now that wouldn't even be the best goal of any game.
The greatest highlight of my entire childhood is Merrick Malik in the shootout coming down and going through the legs in that Rangers uniform. And I watched that from age 12 to 30. And they show that on every single Sports Center top 10.
They're still doing it.
It hasn't gone away.
Crosby's shootout winner against the Montreal Canadiens when he was a rookie. Do you remember it?
Crosby shootout? No, I don't know.
I remember it. I can picture it. I remember the
What
call.
happened? Tell us.
Well, Pierre Maguire was on the call, and he
great.
didn't describe anything. He just went at the goal, and it's literally like he just did some nice angles, forehand, backhand, roof, and that was you couldn't go get your morning coffee without seeing that.
Was that the one where
years.
where he's speeding really fast and then he pops the bottle?
Yeah, it's a nice goal.
I think I remember. I know exactly the highlight you're talking about.
It's a
because
nice
they showed it
goal.
all the time,
and that happens maybe daily now.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a regular goal.
And that's not to diminish that goal. It's to talk about how disgusting this current era of NHL players is.
It reminds me of like the NBA, where if you look at where 3-point shots are getting made from, every decade, every 5 years, it's getting pushed back and back and back and back because the guys are just getting better at shooting a ball into a basket from further and further away. And it's the same thing with hockey. Like every time you look at these highlights, everyone's just getting better at everything, and everything's getting less and less impressive of the old stuff, and they're coming up with new stuff that's just happening regularly. People are just getting better at the sports they play.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
The Michigan and the Michigan.
YouTube has done a lot of good for a lot of sports. Hockey is, I mean, basketball was the first one to sort of take off with the mixtape videos and like the and ones and all that stuff. Yeah. And then I think hockey has really benefited in the last decade, especially now that you're seeing those players make the NHL.
We talked about this years ago, didn't we? We called it. Pavel Barber and guys like that, revolutionizing. Like NHL players watch his stuff, like for ideas. Come on now.
That's cool.
It is cool.
How cool is that?
It's super cool, and guys are screwing with stuff at practice, but guys can do the Michigan, guys can do the Michigan, and now because it's actually happened in an NHL game, they're like, I don't know, why don't I just try it? And like one cheesy goal that people score in video games is they do the Michigan, but facing the goalie.
Yeah, in a show, yeah.
Someone's going to do that in real life. I don't know if it's going to happen this upcoming season, but it's going to happen.
That's who's the one that flips the stick a lot?
Nasher? Oh, Always Hockey?
Always Hockey. He does that really well.
Zach Bell.
Zach Bell, yeah. He does that really well in real life.
Yeah.
Like on goalies. Yeah, he's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when is someone going to, at like an all-star game is probably how it starts. They have the puck in front of them, and then they throw the stick up like a baton, and they catch it like he does, and they do some crazy shit. Anyway, all that to say, this is the most talented era of NHL players.
It's very exciting.
Ever.
And somehow Sonny Milano's unsigned.
Yeah, he's the guy who scored the Michigan goal.
I don't get it.
The goal that he orchestrated.
Yes, he did orchestrate it.
Even though it was Zegras who pulled the move off, he called it. He called the play. He said, do it. That's why Zegras was like, holy fucking shit. I love the look on his face. I still think he might end up back with the Ducks.
Yeah, it looks like he probably will.
Is it weird that as a Leaf fan, like, who shouldn't care about the Ducks at all, is it weird that I hope he ends up back there?
Well, it just seems like wrong to rob us of another year of those two.
Yes. Yes, it does. Knock that off. Give me that more.
Yeah.
Give me some more of that.
Yeah.
I need that.
It was like when
hurry it up.
It was like when Teemu and Paul Kariya were split up. It's like, no.
Ew, yuck.
It was yucky. It was yucky not seeing them play.
Can we
together.
hurry this up?
What?
Like the signings?
Oh yeah. I was
It's
like,
I don't know, man.
What's wrong with this conversation?
No, it's August. What are we? August 3rd.
Well-
and we're still like, Sonny Milano. Come on, GMs.
To that point, though, Jesse,
Figure this shit out.
we've got 1,
we need
2,
Arb.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams over the cap currently. I'm sure some of them will have injuries and that sort of thing. But when you have a third of the league over the cap, and you have only 6 teams that are 10 million under, and a lot of those teams are not going to spend.
All that's going to be adjusted with LTIR.
Sure.
But the point is still there that the cap is a little too restrictive right now and it needs to go up.
And that's why we haven't seen the signings.
It's going to be a real busy August, I'm telling you.
Well, if this year was like this, I wonder what next year is going to be like in terms of free agency. Because it's not like the cap is going up much more.
If there
Like, they're just going to are they just going to run out of room?
Yeah.
And the NHL will be like, we're all out.
if there was a can in this room, this is where I would kick it down the road.
Okay.
Because-
Yeah, okay.
They're good at that.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up here. And remember, we're going to be back tomorrow with an all questions episode of the Steve Dangle Podcast. Before we wrap it up for the summer, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And we will see you soon. I don't have anything else to say.
There's plenty of time left in the music.
Usually Steve's got something to say
What
here.
did you order?
Nothing.
I ordered the
Have some
spicy
lunch.
chicken.
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada's Sportsbook.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.